I played Deus Ex Human Revolution years ago when it came out, and my opinion is basically the same. Robot arms are fucking cool. Deus Ex Mankind Divided reunites you behind the weird face shades of Adam Jensen. This time he's working for Interpol in Prague to fight terrorism. It's been about 2 years after Human Revolution and the incident where the Illuminati caused every augmented person to violently lose their minds for a short period of time. After a sting operation goes south, Jensen gets caught in a train station bombing, which, looking back on my footage, may have had something to do with the fact that people have mastered the ability to teleport. After sleeping the explosion off like any good video game protagonist, he has to investigate the station bombing while working with another group trying to expose the Illuminati. Convoluted? You bet. Any story with the Illuminati always is, but I'd say Mankind Divided's plot is actually easier to follow and more straightforward than its predecessor, which was like trying to piece together a conspiracy theory of a crazed dyslexic written in a dark room.
Trying to download its classified specs. Obviously something more was going on.
This time around, the major characters and organizations are more recognizable with clearer motives, so the whole story becomes more engaging because you're able to at least vaguely understand what's happening. Just beware it'll be a few years before this story actually concludes. The game leaves the whole thing open for a sequel. The ending still feels complete enough, but leaves around many loose ends and finishes on a moderately sized cliffhanger.
Is to fight for the rights of the augmented. Communicate our message, offer assistance.
On top of that, the whole AUG inequality parallel they try to run feels unacceptably heavy-handed. I get it, discrimination is bad. Although in everyone else's defense, if an entire group of people can become violent psychos with the flip of a switch, maybe they have a good reason to still be on edge. Granted, the AUG discrimination might have had more impact if Adam Jensen wasn't such a badass who could take out a squad of men with the brush of his jacket. Discrimination isn't a minor inconvenience like these stupid train security checkpoints that can be avoided by just conforming to the line system. There was even one point when a character called the whole thing racist and I had to gently put down my controller and contemplate how a writer thought that made any fucking sense, because the last time I checked, metal limbs aren't hereditary.
Ever since the incident, paranoia and racism are eating this city alive.
Actually, there's a good amount of culture with the AUGs that just feels manufactured. Take the Church of the Machine God. Am I really supposed to believe that this decently sized religious movement, rooted in technology of all things, thrived in just 2 years? The more I think of it, the dumber it sounds. It just comes off as a little weird, because everything else in this fictional version of Prague has been meticulously crafted with details by the developers.
You monster.
Everything from the trash to the expensive apartments make this feel like a living, breathing world. You know, minus the human-sized vents in every wall. Just look at the difference between how clean the normal and augmented areas are in the train stations. I know I was bitching about the race parallels, but this is a good example of showing the separate and unequal qualities that comes with segregation. Actually, I take back what I said about the detailed world. 0 out of 10, not enough dicks. Feel free to quote me on that one. The side missions in Mankind Divided are equally good. There aren't many, but each one is unique in their own right and never feel like the standard Ubisoft open-world chore. You'll do everything from taking down a brainwashed cult to catching a serial killer. I put them up there with the quality of Fallout 3 side quests, and that's high praise from me. Which makes this all the more heartbreaking. Okay, let's take a look at my objective list. Okay, I already talked to Montag, I did all the optional stuff, I talked to Johnny Gunn, and all that amounted to a big fat X. That's okay. It's not like I wanted to see who the Harvester serial killer was. It's not like the whole reveal of who the killer is the draw to the entire quest line or anything. In all seriousness, there are only 13 of these, so that's a significant portion of the side missions that broke for me. One of the benefits of doing reviews late is getting most of the bugs ironed out, but I guess that's not the case here. As for the gameplay, it's your standard stealth game that becomes a bloodbath once you're spotted. But the level design is what really makes the gameplay shine. It feels like there are plenty of ways to complete each objective. As I progressed, there was always that gnawing feeling in the back of my head of just wondering what I didn't explore, which does add a little bit of replayability. Mankind Divided also made small changes that improved the overall experience quite a bit. Things like rechargeable energy that encourages the use of augments and empowers the player. The new augments are also pretty cool. I was a big fan of the one that allows you to hack from a distance, which came in clutch later in the game. There's also the blink power from Dishonored and... Hey, hold on a second. This one's just the Fusro Dot from Skyrim. Whatever. You might as well steal from good games, I guess. Speaking of good games, the XCOM cover system is also a nice improvement because switching between first and third person viewpoints will get really annoying when you just want to move up a little and wait for a guard to turn his or her back. But all is not well in the gameplay department. For one thing, the AI definitely fits in the sheeple category with how stupid they are. Sure, they'll flank occasionally, but it's never organized, and sometimes they don't even get behind cover when they move up. Hey, ever wonder why cover-based shooters don't allow you to see the reticle when you're not aiming? This is why.
Wrong way, asshole!
The controls, at least on console, also feel a little awkward and clunky, and seem like they were designed for PC. There just aren't enough buttons. So to take cover, you press the right analog stick. That's not so bad. To pull up the weapon wheel, you have to press and hold the right analog stick? What? Okay, to holster my weapon, I need to hold square and tap L2. But if I hold it too long, I examine it. Why? Just why? Plus, the targeting for the melee takedowns can also be a bit weird. Aside from the main story, there's also this breach mode, which felt like the biggest waste of time from the beginning. And you can guess that from the opening cutscene. It felt so tacked on, I didn't even really get to the microtransaction part, which there is, by the way. Okay, I've been pissing all over this game for quite a bit, but none of my complaints are game-breaking. Mankind Divided does everything a sequel should when improving upon the original. Both gameplay and story are better overall, and I actually enjoyed the hell out of them. With that said, it's still got a mountain of tiny flaws and gripes that hinder it from rising above the rest in a stellar year for games. Deus Ex Mankind Divided gets a B-.
But do you seek counsel? Assistance in your prayers or meditations?
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Feel free to do the like, comment, subscribe thing, dislike, don't. God, I suck at these. Sorry for not being too frequent with my uploads. I don't really have a good excuse. I was just kind of working and procrastinating and playing games. So, yeah, it's not really an excuse. I do know I will be trying to work into a schedule more frequently, just by doing stuff that aren't necessarily reviews, but still similar in a way. You guys will see. You guys will see. Anyway, later.